It's meant to be the international break. It's a time where we actually get a break from Chelsea and how they're performing at the moment. If we're on a good winning run, then I can understand, we want to keep that momentum going. But it come at a point that we just needed to chill out, have a week off. Now, the question is, have we had a week off? And my answer to that is, have we? We've had more news come out every day, and literally Chelsea are everywhere. They're on TalkSport, they're on Sky Sports, they're on Twitter, John Obi Mikel's podcast, everywhere, you name it. Everywhere, negative Chelsea. And what's happened is, players have gone away on international duty and they've been set free. They got free range to talk about whatever they want, wherever they want, with whoever they want. And I'm not going to show you all of it because we've seen it. I've posted about it. Enzo Fernandez and Marc Cucurella. But also with regards to Chelsea, the club as well, or should I say CFC LDN, and the way it's been run. And we've had some figures come out. Now, I'm no mathematician. I'm no clever person figuring it out and dividing this by two and doing the algebra with this and working out how much we've lost and here and there. But I can clearly see that it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good at all. We have signed a lot of players under Blueco. A lot. We've got rid of a lot of players under Blueco as well. We've got rid of a lot of them. So when this bit come out yesterday, I couldn't believe this. So I'm just going to show you here. Take a look. So we had this come out, which was breaking football agent fees for the 4th of February 2025 to the 2nd of Feb 2026. Chelsea are top significantly. 102,247. See, I told you I was no good at math. But if I just scroll over there, we got Chelsea there, scroll across, and there's the number there. Now let's go to, say, for instance, Liverpool. They had a busy summer window, didn't they? They had Florian Wirtz, they had Alexander Isak, Hugo Ekitike. Who else did they have? Frimpong. Yeah, they had quite a busy summer. And look at their agent fees. So I'm trying to put my head together and think, all right, we've bought a lot of players. I could sort of get that. But you're buying players on cheap. You're buying them young. You're buying them on cheap. You're buying them on low wages. But I think Eunice done the maths, and it works out that they roughly get about 22% of the fee. The agents do. I mean, I can understand if it was Barcola, Doué, Tchouameni, Vinicius Junior, them sort of players. But you're looking at Garnacho, Gittins, Pedro Neto, Cole Palmer, all right, Esteval, Enzo Fernandez. I mean, these players, I don't know how much of a pull we needed from an agent for them to sign for us. But that is bad reading. And that is not good reading, considering that we had the financial losses come out as well for Chelsea for the 24-25 season. Just something else negative. So I'm going to move on from that because I think that, am I surprised? No, not really, with how the club's been handling everything. I'm not surprised at all. It's just laughable. It is laughable. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly go on and show you as well the all in all for the result of the financial losses coming out and how it affected us and what it meant. So let's quickly go through it now. So via Kieran Maguire and Peter Rutzler, Chelsea made a Premier League record loss of 262 million in 24-25, beating the 197.5 million made by Manchester City in 2010 and 2011. Again, doesn't make good reading, does it? What does it tell you about these owners? They're meant to be businessmen. They're more focused on the business side than the football side. And you can see that they ain't getting the two right. They're doing some outrageous stuff. And also, you've got to think that what they have done is, they have sold themselves the training ground, the women's team, multiple other stuff so they can balance the books out and gain some money somewhere. That's run out. We got nothing. They got nothing. Sorry, they got nothing else to buy. What are they going to buy now to try and balance the books? You know what they will do? They'll sell. Enzo Fernandez, you've come out and said what you want to say. See you later. Marc Cucurella, you've come out. We can make money from you. See you later. Cole Palmer, you want to go Man United? Sure. See you later. Because we are more concerned about how we're going to balance our books and get something financially than what happens to what we own on the pitch. That's all that's going to happen. And I just want to remind you something as well. I want to remind you when they took over the club, what they said about Roman and his empire and his business and how he ran Chelsea. Just take a look at that a second. So obviously there's a long old page here, but it's just this bit here. Chelsea under Roman Abramovich were, in the memorable words of Clearlake co-founder Bedad Agbali in December 2022, a business that was not terribly well managed on the football side, sporting side or promotional side. They did, however, win major trophies at an unprecedented rate relative to the club's prior history, meaning any sharp deviation from this tried and tested path was always going to be judged through an immediate and unforgiving lens. So what he's saying there basically is the business wasn't run well, the sporting side wasn't run well, or the promotional side wasn't run well. So business side, that's your main focus, being the owners of Chelsea Football Club, CFC LDN. You ain't getting that too good, are you? You're not doing too well there because you're making, all right, you're saying you're making good financial gain, but the financial losses are the worst in history. So you ain't doing too well there. Sporting side, you ain't doing too well there either. Promotional side, you ain't doing too well. Basically, what you're doing is you're struggling with getting a sponsorship because you want a commitment of 4 years from someone. But they clearly ain't going to sign to 4 years for Chelsea, are they? Because they can't even guarantee Champions League football at the moment. Sporting side, I don't really know too much about what they're doing on the sporting side, if I'm honest with you, because I have not really been paying too much attention. But them saying this about Roman and what he built, and basically saying everything was poor managed. You ain't doing so well yourself, are you, boys? Don't make good reading at all. Can't wait for the football to come back just so we could talk about football and how bad and Chelsea were and how much we suffered in the defeat, rather than talking about the owners. 2 players coming out and basically talking about the club and the owners and where they want to play, Barcelona, Real Madrid. So obviously we've had a legend of our club. He is a legend. John Obi Mikel. He has come out and on his podcast saying about how he feels to the reaction of Enzo Fernandez speaking about the club and Real Madrid. Now, you've probably all seen this all over X. I'm just going to quickly go through it here. So, John Obi Mikel states via the Obi-Wan podcast, no player is bigger than the football club. If Enzo Fernandez has had enough, put your hands up and F off, and we move on. You should be grateful you're playing for Chelsea Football Club. Right, I'm going to stop you in your tracks there, John Obi. I normally agree with what you're saying, and I do agree to an extent with what you're saying there. But back in your day, all of you that played around the same era have now retired and gone on to be long life Chelsea fans and talking about them with passion. Because that's what Chelsea made you do back then. And that was Chelsea. This is no longer Chelsea. This is CFC LDN. This is a project. This is an umbrella. This is a business. This isn't a football team, a football club you can fall in love with anymore. None of these players here are going to feel the same way you do about Chelsea when they retire. Even when they leave, they go and speak. Axel Disassi said, I would speak about it, but I'm going to be in trouble. I'm sure he will when it comes down the line. Enzo Maresca's spoken about it. Graham Potter's spoken about it. Frank Lampard spoke briefly about it. More players are going to be doing this. They're going to be fans in a special way, but not in a way that you are. Hardcore like us. So I get that you could say, if you don't want to play for us and you can do one, but He's not playing for Chelsea. Try and remember that. He's not playing for Chelsea. He's playing for Blueco, CFCLDN. He's annoyed. He's agitated. He was sold a dream and is living a nightmare. Once everything started to look a bit stable for him, it all come crushing down. Didn't jump on the next transfer window after the Conference League and the Club World Cup and go and buy some decent players. Some really decent high players. No, you get Gittins, you get Garnacho, you get Liam Delap. That doesn't scream pushing our squad further to compete in Champions League either. No, it looks like you're thinking that we're going back into the Conference League again. So, doesn't make good reading at all, and I could sort of agree with Mikel, but not to a full extent. Now, just a little added something else with Enzo Fernandez. I'm just going to show you here. So this has come from Mike McGrath from The Telegraph, and this is: Chelsea players have been left unimpressed with Enzo Fernandez's leadership at a time when everyone needs to pull together to get UCL football. You having a laugh? If he is like in the dressing room what he was like with Jorgensen out on the pitch away at PSG, giving him some welly, bloody good on him. If he's doing that in the dressing room, good on him. That's passion. That's fight. That's wanting better. If that is what he's doing in the changing room and on the training pitch, then these players are a bunch of melts. Can't take it. Don't want to admit it. And because they're used to Reece James's approach, probably the more calm, reserved approach, where Enzo Fernandez is drilling. Liam Rossini is probably not doing that. So Enzo's taking it upon himself. Not because he just wants to move to Real Madrid, but because he plays for Chelsea and he wants to give his best, and no one else around him is doing that. And it's frustrating him how we've gone from stabilisation. All right, the results weren't great towards the end, but some form of stabilisation. And you knew that when you went against a big team, there was some structure there that you can play with. We went from that down to an underqualified Championship manager in Liam Rossini. And now the man who's gone into his job at Strasbourg, Gary O'Neill, is more qualified than him. So if he doesn't win at Port Vale, or he struggles with more fixtures coming up, you can damn well bet your bottom dollar he's going to be out the door. Gary O'Neill's going to be brought in. And that is painful. I don't want Liam Rossini to go for that fact, so I feel trapped. We feel trapped as Chelsea fans. I haven't really gone digging for much else, to be fair, because it's all been quite depressing, negative. Simon Jordan coming out. I lost my rag yesterday. I put a video on TikTok, just me watching Simon Jordan blabber on about how Marc Cucurella doesn't know a thing about owning a football club and should stick to what he knows. The reason he's coming out with that, Simon Jordan, is because he's Ed Barley's pal. And he goes for nice cocktails and nice food with him. He's not going to come out and speak against the owners because that's his pal. He's probably paid to go on Talk Sport and be a representative there. And Marc Cucurella, all right, he might not know how to run a football club, but you don't know how to be a professional footballer. You don't know what it takes. You don't know what it is to want to be in a successful team. Not as an owner, as a player. He was at Barcelona youth. He's been brought up around greatness and a good structure. Brighton had a better structure than us. Tony Bloom. I mean, he won the Euros with Spain, for God's sake. And look at Spain. Fantastic. Got young players, got experienced players. Good mixture, good structure. He knows what it takes. And he looks at Chelsea and he knows that ain't the one. And it's not working. So Simon Jordan, stop talking out your arse. Stop defending Ed Barley. And stand with a player for speaking out on the ownership. But that's something you're not going to do. And that's all I've got to say on that. So we've got Port Vale on Saturday. I think it's a 5-something kick-off in the evening. Don't think I'm going to be around for it. I'm going to try. I'm not going to be around for a preview tomorrow. I will try, maybe later on in the evening. Yeah, I will do one later on in the evening. What am I expecting? I'm going to quickly say now. I'm going to expect a bit of a mixture of a squad. Depends when people come back from international, how much they've played, how far they've been away. I would expect to see the likes of maybe Jesse Derry in there. Yeah, probably I'm going to say maybe Hato, Delap, maybe even a Gu. Who else are we going to have? Maybe a Sugo, maybe Lavia. I reckon Garnacho's going to be in there. Esteval should come and get some minutes. It's going to be a real mixture, and I don't think it's going to be that easy either. I think that Port Vale are going to probably pick up on our stinking set piece tactics, and they're going to try everything in the book to get free kicks, to get corners, and I think we're going to concede as well. But I'll give more on that tomorrow night, because I will come on tomorrow night and do that. So yeah, hit like and subscribe and put the notification bell on. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you're all out there doing okay and not reading into the negativity too much. I've seen everywhere that we are just sick of it, and we would like to get back to the football now and start talking about some football and the actual game instead of what everyone else is doing, the club, how they're being run, the players, what they're talking about. So hang in there, guys, and I'll speak to you tomorrow.